Hi guys, welcome. I am Mandy Rice of teachonamission.com. I'm so glad that you guys are here tonight. I see that some of you are saying, I'm here, yay, fantastic. If you would comment just to let me know, give me a wave or something. I would love to see who all is here. And just let me know if you can hear me okay. That's the big thing. I've totally done one of these before using the newer software that I'm not totally used to, and did like a 20-minute live and forgot to unmute my mic. You know, you're just winning with technology when you do things like that. So yeah, again, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Mandy Rice of teachonamission.com, and I work to help teachers build sustainable classrooms so they can stay there longer, right? Like that's our ultimate mission at Teach on a Mission. And I primarily do that by helping teachers build flipped classrooms. I've been doing that for about 10 years now, and teaching for the same amount of time. And a new endeavor is I'm giving content-specific coaching for teachers, as well as helping other teachers become the content-specific experts in their area. So that's been really cool. So sound is good. Fantastic. Okay, so we are here tonight because you don't live under a rock and you've been watching the headlines, right? And you've been probably hearing from your administration various preparations that the districts and schools are rightfully preparing, right? That they are getting ready for their response to COVID-19 or coronavirus, right? And so I want to bring some experience, maybe a little advice and expertise over my years of helping teachers develop flipped classrooms, which call it blended learning, call it online learning, whatever you want to call it. To me, what it means is that your classroom is accessible outside of the four walls of your classroom. And many of us are facing that necessity as a necessity, right? We're facing this as a necessity for the first time. I don't know about you, but I've never experienced anything like this, right? And so that's probably why you're here. This is really new for you. And how do I do this when you're given a week's notice or a day's notice, right? And just being ready is good. So I'm excited that you're here. And I've got a few tools that I want to share with you. But the biggest takeaway I want you to have from this, it'll probably be about 20 minutes from now. My goal is like 6:50 because I'm going live with some other teachers at 7 is, okay, so here's my biggest takeaway. So if you've been distracted because I'm just sitting here babbling, please come back. The biggest takeaway I want you to have from this quick live is that there is no way in a week's notice, from a day's notice to a week's notice, that you can take your classroom, your course that you've spent at least most of a year building, probably more years building, right? And make it into an online classroom. Get your mind where it needs to be there. Get your expectations where it needs to be there, that you are in no way going to be able to build a flourishing online course in that little of notice. But what I'm arguing is that you don't need to. You simply need to make your classroom accessible to your students. With that being said, we also have to have some mindset shifts around what it is that you are able to control and that you are not able to control, because I've just been looking on social media. I've been there like all day today. I don't know if that's a good thing. And that you can't control what Wi-Fi or devices your students have access to at home. And those are some needs that you and your administration and your school is going to have to address, right? But there are some preparations that you can start now in making your classroom almost like in a neat package so that it is accessible to your students when they are not in the four walls of your building. Okay, and so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. The other thing that I wanted to say is that please don't think that the experience, the culture, the atmosphere that you create in the four walls of your classroom will ever be able to be replicated in a blended or online atmosphere, right? More specifically in an online atmosphere, right? What you work so hard to create to be responsive to your students and creating that collaborative and amazing student-centered atmosphere in the four walls of your classroom will never be replicated in an online classroom that you've had a day or a weekend or a week to prepare. Okay, so again, just trying to give you a couple of things to calm the nerves that you can feel just by scrolling through your feed on social media, right? Like we can feel the tension. And so I'm just trying to bring a positive, maybe even a little calming, centering voice to what seems like the chaos, right? So, just know that you're not going to be able to replicate that atmosphere in an online environment, nor can you build an online classroom in such a short notice. But you can make your classroom accessible. And here is how I recommend doing so. The first one is probably no shock to anyone who's watching this or anyone ever on earth, is through video. And that's where I've seen a lot of teachers asking, like, where do I make these videos? How can I access them? Et cetera, et cetera. So when I say video, I don't necessarily mean that you're going to get on there and lecture, although you totally could. I've built multiple classrooms where every single lecture I give is via a video that my students watch at home or at the beginning of class like 2 or 3 times a week. But you don't have to do it that way, right? It could just simply be a video where you are speaking to your students about what's going on and the expectations that you have for them. But it could also be a video where you are delivering the content, where you are giving notes and you explain to students what your expectations are for what they do with that information. But here's a big point that I would like to make. 2, really. One is that there are videos out there that you could totally use. They're out there. You need to watch them and make sure that they're quality, but they are out there. So if you are feeling the pressure of what is happening and all that's going on, please do take a little time to look around, ask around, get on Facebook, find the Facebook groups that is of teachers, right, in your specific content area and ask, dude, is there like anybody who makes videos that I can use because I can't make these, or I don't have time, or I don't have the resources, whatever that kind of sticking point is. So that was number 1. Number 2 is if you are able to make your own videos, and I'm going to give you some pointers on how to do that. If you are able to make your own videos, that is what I would advocate for you to do. And here's why. This is a stressful time, right? Your students are going to be at home. Outside of you standing next to them face to face or up in front of the classroom, video is the next best thing to give them that personal connection to you, to your class, and maybe even to their classmates, right? They hear your voice, and if you're brave enough, they'll see your face. And it's one that they've seen for about 8 months now, right? I'm guessing on the months. I'm hoping it's somewhere around there from August, right? It's the face and the voice that they've heard for however long, that can be really centering for them. And so if you're able to make those videos where you get like a screencast of what's on your screen as well as your face, that could be a really centering and personal touch to making your classroom more accessible to your students. Now, the tool that I recommend in using that is not one that you probably are going to want to access right now if you've never used it before. It's Camtasia, available through TechSmith, and they give teachers a discount, and I can give you a link to that if you are interested. Here's the thing, that costs money, and you don't want to drop a bunch of money right now when you are on a time crunch, right? So what I recommend is going with Screencast-O-Matic. Just Google it really quickly if you would like to. Open up another tab, keep me here for a second, and Google Screencast-O-Matic. It allows you to, at least the last time I used it, which has been a few months, is it allows you to make up to 15-minute videos. And really, you don't want to be making videos longer than that. If you're in the high school or even post-secondary level, you really want to keep your videos to 15, 20 minutes at the longest. And I would say that that's all. Right? Like you don't need to make multiple parts of videos that are like 20 minutes long because then it's just too much. And again, you can't replicate what you do in the classroom. So don't try to shove it all into a 15 to 20 minute video. If you are like let's say like ninth grade through like middle school. So let's say like 6th through ninth grade-ish, you want to stick around 10 minutes max, depending on the level of your students. Elementary school, if that's possible for you, you want to have like 5-minute videos, right? And you could even do something like very short, like 1 to 2 minute videos. Sorry, what you hear is the commentary of a really mean game of hide and seek with Dad. It's our 3 boys, and we're leaving to go out of town tomorrow. So Dad is getting some dude time with our 3 boys. So pardon me as my family is enjoying life, living their best life. Okay, but that always distracts me and I get off track. That's okay. Screencast-O-Matic, elementary level students. You could make like 1 to 2 minute videos, or just one, that simply explains directions. Please print this out, and here's what you do with it. I miss you guys. Bye. Right? Like it's just a personal touch if you're able to do it. Doesn't have to be a screencast. It could be you on your phone if you really would like to. But I do believe that if you're able to make video where they can see your face, it adds that personal touch, and it can be really centering for your students in what is a tumultuous time, right? Okay. Screencast-O-Matic is where I would go for there. Now, the older children that you have, the more accountable you need to hold them, right? The more, you need to hold them more accountable the older they get, because we're all humans and we all take a mile when we're given an inch. And closing school is giving them more than an inch, right? So have that kind of in the back of your mind too, that this is not going to be perfect. Absolutely not. It's not going to. But if you can be a smiling face and your face can be seen by them as centering and calming for them, you're winning already. Okay, so how can you hold them accountable? Well, here's what you want to do, some quick brainstorming around. After you have made your video or you found the video that you're going to use. What are they doing during that video? And what are they doing after that video? So during that video, what I advocate for, especially for your older students, even post-secondary level, if you are delivering content, I advocate that if you're doing that in a video, they need to have something on paper that you have provided for them that guides them through the video. Especially in, so Lori just said video program Screencast-O-Matic. Yes, thank you. That is exactly it. And I will provide a link when I am able to. After I get off of here, I'll just put it in the comments, because if I do that now, I'm going to totally lose my train of thought. In fact, just saying that made me lose my train of thought. But that's okay. That's the beauty of Facebook Live, right? Okay, so whatever they do during, I advocate that you have I just call them guided notes. It doesn't have to be necessarily something you make. If it can be, fantastic. Those are also available out in the world. Find those Facebook groups. If your school can help you pay for those, or if you're willing to drop $1 or $2, you can purchase those on Teachers Pay Teachers. But having something that they can either print or you can send them home with, if you're able to, if you have enough notice to like prepare with your students, right? And if your district has been telling you to do that now, you could totally start talking to your students about it now, saying, hey, I'm not saying this is absolutely happening because I'm gonna know when you all know, but let's maybe be safe, not sorry, and prepare, right? So another focus notes during video, ? Hey, Jackie, could you just clarify what your question is there? And that, you want to have your like focused notes. I just call them guided notes, which is simply like, it's not even an outline necessarily. It's just, if there's important points from your video that you absolutely want your students getting, you want to have that on paper so that they see, oh, she's talking about, right now on the video, she's talking about this that's on my paper. So it's probably important, right? And so the lower level, right, the lower grade levels you go, the more scaffolded you want that to be. If you cannot make those, if you cannot access those from someone else, we're in a time crunch, I get it. Teach them a structure of some sort. Now, you may already have this, right? Like you may have like an interactive notebook. You may have already taught them Cornell style note taking, whatever that looks like, just continue to use it. If you're able to continue what you do in the classroom, whatever that routine or process looks like, continue it at home if you're able to. Okay, good, Jackie. I'm glad we got that clarified. Okay. Now, there's another kind of step you can take with your videos to make or to hold students a bit more accountable. There's 2 tools that I recommend. One I have used, one a lot of my teachers that have taken various programs of mine have used and absolutely love. The one I use is called Play Pause It. I have used so many YouTube videos. Now, I teach psychology, so YouTube is just a brave new world of examples of stuff of our vocab terms. So like, I've taken an episode of Big Bang Theory and I put questions, right? Like, so you have the video go and you say, okay, I want it to stop right here and I want it to ask this question. How is Sheldon Cooper demonstrating this vocabulary term? Or what vocabulary term is he demonstrating? Something like that. You could totally do that in your videos. You could even get snarky with it if you wanted. I'm all about a little level of sass in your videos, which is, what did I just say? Right? Like, just something as simple as that. If you're really finding that students are taking advantage of this, you're really having some trouble with keeping them engaged with the videos, you could do something like either say or post a random number or formula or question or meme or whatever you want, and then ask a question about that in Play Pause It. The other tool being Edpuzzle. Okay, so Play Pause It and Edpuzzle to me are pretty identical tools that allow you to take a YouTube video that you've created, right? You make a video on your phone or from the webcam on your computer, you load it up on YouTube, you plug it into Play Pause It or Edpuzzle, and it allows you to plug in questions into, or even just at the end of that video. And it gives you lots of options, lots of like personalized options, including students can't move on from this question until they answer it correctly. You can either allow them or not allow them to rewind the video in order to better answer, right? Like to catch what they missed, obviously, if they don't know it. Trying to think of some other, there's all kinds of different question options in there, and then you will see their answers. You will see their answers. Now, if your students are already gone, right? Like if you are already canceled, you're going to need to do a little extra legwork on getting them access to that tool. And you could even make a video about that, showing them here's where you go and here's how you sign up with Google if they have like a Google account, or, you know, if they don't have a school Google account, you say, I recommend that you use your school login information so you don't forget, something like that. And then giving them the code to access your class inside of Play Pause It and Edpuzzle. Now, if your students are not gone yet, you haven't closed yet, you want to prep that now. And it's a super fast tool. Corinne's so glad you think so. Yay, I'm so glad you think so. Where'd it go? There we go. Okay. All right, so okay, so we've talked about Screencast-O-Matic. Camtasia really is so much better, but that's kind of next. It's not next level. It's just you got to pay for it. And in a time crunch, your school district is not going to just be like handing out money to everybody, right? The next ones are Play Pause It and Edpuzzle, all of these being free tools. Now, and I've got like a minute. That's okay. I'm going to go as long as we need to go and then hopefully answer your questions. What will they do with what they learned? Okay, so hopefully it's answer questions in Edpuzzle or Play Pause It. If you're not all about that tool, that's totally fine. Before, I have put my videos just on YouTube or in my Google site, which is just my classroom website. And below it is either embedded or a link to a simple Google quiz, which is a Google form made into a quiz. And I ask them questions, and I've given them points for that before. Sure, they're taking it at home, but I mean, you really don't have a choice, right? So it's kind of tricky. So you could have a Google quiz underneath your video if it's on your website. You could make a simple Google draw if you've ever made a Google drawing. Now, last week, Last week on my blog, you can go to teachonamission.com/blog. I blogged about, which sounds so weird. I sound like a total millennial. I totally posted a blog. That's not me, but I guess it is. So anywho, last week, a how-to for teachers tutorial on how to make a Google Draw into a digital review activity. And I made a video about it too. So if you go to teachonamission.com/blog, you'll see all kinds of there'll be 3. How I make my guided notes, how to make digital review activities, drag and drop activities, and then how to do stations, especially with older kids, because we don't think about doing stations with older kids. So you could totally check that out. The other one is, if you have an assessment management system, use it, right? And that, sure, they're going to be taking it at home, but I mean, it's the world we live in at the moment. We've never kind of been in this territory before, and so you just got to go with it. I also wanted to tell you not to underestimate the power of their phones and taking pictures. So if you use some kind of learning management system like a Google Classroom, and you put an assignment up there, let's say it's your video, and you've linked the notes you want them taking notes on, and the directions could even say, when you're finished, take a picture of your notes and post them to this assignment on Google Classroom. I want to see them. You could also kind of get out in front of this whole cheating epidemic, which is everywhere no matter what you do, where they're just practicing their ABCs by copying off of one another, and say, look, I don't even care if you guys are in the same room watching me on the same screen, right? Your friends, your neighbors, whatever, of your classmates, do it together. That's great. But you'd better have your own piece of paper that is yours. Okay? And then they could just take a picture of that and load it up on Google Classroom. What you want to do with it from there is totally up to you. I just kind of like having that level of accountability, I guess. And that, hey, dude, I'm going to be looking at this. So put it up there. Put the picture up. What was the other thing I was going to talk about? Oh, I just had a really good point and I lost it. Okay, while I'm trying to remember that, please, please, please post your questions. Let's do a 5-minute Q&A because, like I said, I've got a live at 7 p.m. with my AP Psych teachers who are the members in my little group. So, yeah, let me try. Whoa, what was I going to say? I totally forget. While you're posting any of your questions, this t-shirt, this teacher tee, is brought to you by Missy Lulu's Custom Tees. I will put her website in the comments for you guys to see. In fact, I should probably look for exactly what that is. So that I don't forget. Okay, let's see. Andrea says, love your notes and videos. Thanks so much for great resources. Yay, first year AP Psych teacher. Woo! Yep, that's my total niche is AP Psych. Yay, that's fantastic. I missed the name of the tool you're talking about. Okay, so let me go over those tools really quickly. Screencast-O-Matic, Play Pause It, or Edpuzzle. That's kind of one and the same. So Screencast-O-Matic, Play Pause It, or Edpuzzle, and then Google is your friend. So like a Google Draw, a Google Quiz, whatever, however you want to use those, making sure you go to teachonamission.com/blog to get that video tutorial of how I make a Google Draw into a review activity. It's like a drag and drop review activity that could be super simple. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, please, please, please post them. And I would love to answer them for you. Any questions? Okay, what do you do for students who are not connected to the internet? Oh, that is so hard. You're totally right. Okay, you have some options. Hopefully they have a device. Put your video on a jump drive. If you're able to do that, put it on a jump drive. It's really hard. That's really hard. Another option would be just like a CD-ROM, right? And I believe a CD-ROM would play in a DVD player, wouldn't it? So guys, if you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to message me on Facebook. You can send me an email. It's Mandy, M-A-N-D-Y, @teachonamission.com. What was I saying? Oh, starting next week, about how I do this in a regular classroom, not just in response to school closures because of some crazy pandemic that we're facing as a country. So stay tuned to the blog if that's something that you might be interested in learning about. And all right, I'm going to sign off because I've got to go chat with my awesome AP Psych members about all things clinical and social psychology. Some of you guys are like, ugh, get me out of here. You're right. Thanks so much for joining me. Again, teachonamission.com is where you'll find all kinds of goodies that I offer up for teachers in helping them build sustainable classrooms so they can stay there longer. I hope you found these tools and these tips helpful as we're facing a very new, right, never experienced before situation, and really just doing your best to be that calming and centering face and voice and presence for your students. So everybody have a great night, and I wish you the best of luck. Until next time. Bye, guys.